Okay, so what we got here, this is going to be the introductory video to the 70 SS 454. We've got a kind of a little bit of a time capsule, so to speak, that I just dug through and cleaned out. This thing hadn't been touched since 2013 when I shoved it in my other building out there. And then I bought the car that I sold at Street Side Classics, the Blue 72. You have to go back and catch up on those videos about, I don't even know if I put that much on the internet about that building, redoing that car, but it really just needed to be painted. So I knew I wasn't going to do anything else with this one. So I pretty much just, once I started working on my grandpa's car in the early part of 2014, I moved this car out to the building. But all of this work you see, and you see I had some metal, I'm going to have to grind this rust back off. This was my first rodeo as far as putting a roof skin on a car. This is and I put a cell panel in. I had help with this at the time. But this was my first rodeo. As you'll see, I do things a little differently now. I always drill down through and spot weld it back, but I may actually add some there, or may not. It's probably fine the way it is, but this was my first rodeo. I did it here, grinded and drilled holes and welded it back. This car was not sandblasted. So, I grinded all the paint off this car sitting right here. And it was an absolute mess. I can't, looking back, I can't believe that I did that. I mean, but that was 2013, Jared. That was, that didn't have nerve damage in his hands and all that type of stuff. So that won't be taking place anymore. I mean, I strictly have cars stripped. Now, as a matter of fact, there's enough crap on this car that needs to be stripped. I'm going to call my guy, and I'm going to have him strip this fender, the fender and taillight extensions, and I'm going to have him do a lot of this miscellaneous junk, all the brackets and stuff, and it'll be well worth it, and the job will be better. I could grind the paint off this fender, but I just really don't want to, so I decided I'm not going to. Everything else, this car, I shaved the firewall, and basically you're seeing bodywork that's old. It's just been epoxy, so I shaved all of that. All the frame had been blasted and painted. I don't know if it's been powder coated, but I bought this car in 2013 out of Savannah, Georgia, from a fellow named Matt that I got to know by selling parts to before. I actually shaved this firewall. Luckily, I left these two holes, so that's where your vintage air wires will be coming out. So that's going to work out real nice. And then, of course, the hole's still under there, so the hoses will come out. We just went ahead and ordered the vintage air. So this fender came out of Michigan, I want to say. So, yeah, I'm getting things ready. All right, picking back up where I just left off. The engine and transmission, the guy I bought it from, put this in here. What I basically did when I sold this car, I basically pieced it out. And it had a lot of desirable parts. It had seats, console, tack dash, engine, transmission, all that stuff. Well, I sold the car to him. I sold I think I gave him the leveling system to go with it. But I sold the tack dash. I sold the motor and transmission. I sold probably a few other little things that it had. Oh, yeah, all the seats and interior. And basically, I built my new garage by piecing this car out. Well, now the biggest piece is back in the shop, where it basically started 2013. He's going with a new cowl hood. He's actually already got that over here. I'll show that to you. A lot of people's probably going to ask where to get one of these. Well, they're out of stock right now. Jegs is claiming they're going to ship, I think, or Summit in January sometime. I've actually contemplated just trying to use that one and then getting him another one, but for my black car. But I really just want the standard hood. That's the flapper. I got the flapper door laying over there. Again, probably going to have to get him a steering column. There's a lot of parts that's going to have to be gotten, but I don't think I'm going to do any interior unless he brings it to me, or can get it set up to do the headliner and that type of thing. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But basically at this point, what I'm going to do, I got it cleaned out. I got some wheels and tires on it that'll actually hold air. I'm going to basically start where I left off. And as far as on the parts that's not blasted, that's going to be by calling my guy, getting him to strip those. And then we're going to go from there. I mean, I was really, you know, my goal for this car all those years back was to basically, my black SS I have now was going to be this car. That was the plan. Black with red interior. Well, as of right now, this car is going to be black, and I think he's going with a black interior. But that's kind of where we're at. So as you can see, I kind of was heading towards a car that was going to stand out, you know, shaved firewall and that type of stuff. I was going to go with, even at the time, like I said, red interior. I was even wanting to go with leather. But I probably would have changed my opinion on that real fast. But so anyway, that's kind of a little more of the car. This material here is Transtar epoxy. It's held up rather well, so that's a good thing. That's been on there for about 8 years. Man, it don't seem that long, but sometimes it does. So I've got to, you know, clean the rust off of this. This was where I was, you know, kind of starting my final work that I was going to do and then get it in high build. So basically there's a lot of body work that's been done under this epoxy. But, you know, all this is going to have to be scuffed because it's been so long, you know, nothing will stick to that because it's too dry. It's not going to get a chemical reaction. So I'm going to probably start by going and cleaning getting the glass out of this door. Getting these panels scuffed, and probably go ahead and get this thing pretty quickly into its first coat of Tamco 5310. And then we're gonna take, probably going to take probably the radiator support up here, but this stuff here is gonna have to be, yeah, that's gonna have to be blasted. That looks like crap. That was not done very well. So I'm gonna take this apart. And I'm not a real fan of what I see here. So I may just let them blast I believe these were powder coated, but this wasn't. Because I don't like powder coat to me. So anyway, he wants this thing to be kind of stand tall like my black car. So I'm going to kind of go at it with that attitude. So, that's been the introductory video. Kind of looking at this thing kind of takes me back a little ways to things, you know, before I did this for a living. This was actually before I ever really even thought about doing it for a living. At the time, I just didn't really have a place because I had my cars in here, but I didn't have as many cars then. And but anyway, it's been a good road since then. We've had some ups and downs, and I could have easily not be talking right now, because after I sold this car, that's when I found out about the right after that I got sick. Grandpa's car was in here tying up the building, that type of thing. So anyway, but yeah, so it's been a long time. This car got, like I said, got moved out there in 2014, but one other thing I'm going to mention about the car, it's got all new suspension, ball joints, bushings, all that's done been done. The frame's done. So it's got a lot going for it. A lot of the hard work's done been done. That, I don't know. It looks like that's held up pretty well. I think this was actually painted already black, and I just scuffed it and put a coat of epoxy, but it looks kind of wet, kind of rough. So I'm going to have to make sure that's nice. This is going to get blasted. I'd be tempted to give him that fender and let him shoot that back clean. But anyway, so that's kind of the plan going forward. Black interior, basically picking up where I left off all these years ago. And this was my first major project that I decided I wanted to tackle. And first roof skin, first cell panel. Like I said, Kevin actually helped me with this a good bit. And so I don't know if you can see where it was put in, maybe a little bit. I don't have my light on me. So anyway, hope you enjoy the following this build along. Of course, I don't have anywhere near enough memory on my phone to make this all into one video, but I'll try to figure out a way I can kind of condense the videos to where they're maybe 20, 30 minutes a piece, and not have so many videos, but do, because I'm not going to any car shows anytime soon, so I should be able to store more on my phone. And I'd like to be able to use maybe even use another phone. I need to do, just kind of keep one here, and that way I can store all of my restoration stuff on another device and not have to have it on this device. So this is kind of my traveling device. But so that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to put these two clips together and post it, or may hold on. So if I do any more work, if I start on the car and I put these clips together, look for that. If not, catch me in the next video. Same thing's pretty much been done with the doors and whatnot. So, all right, so that's it. This is going to be the introductory video to Jayce Croft's 70 SS 454. And follow me along. This is December of 2021. The same week, it's the week before Christmas. And we're going to see this thing progress over the next 3 to 4 months. From this to a car that's going to resemble my own personal SS. And I'm glad you're going to follow me along with it. So, with that being said, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like, share, comment. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them as always. Merry Christmas, everybody. Taking the front end apart right now. Mike's coming to blast this fender and a lot of this small stuff. And this will help us have a quicker start on getting this car where it needs to be. So it's kind of where we're at right now. Grab a socket, 9/16. These Monte Carlos, all these bolts up here, except for a few, are 1/2 inch. The fender bolts all are 9/16. Don't have most of them in it. This hinge here is not much count. So I do believe that old cow hood is probably heavier than the original. right, just like in the TV show, the car is disassembled in 5 minutes, right? Makes it easier when there wasn't nothing holding the stuff on to begin with. This is one of the fenders that come off the car right here. Again, we'll take a look at it here and see. Show you, I got started off on the right foot. That was 3 minutes and 40 seconds, not too bad. I made this piece here. Just made it out of sheet metal, butt welded it in. Cut this air off here. Butt welded it in. I also made this piece here wide where a hole can be drilled for the inner fender. So I really took my time with that and got that right. Now, I didn't sandblast these fenders, as you can see. Now, today, since he's going to be here with the sandblaster, I'm probably going to let him kind of dust. I ain't going to let him get real close. Let him dust the back side of this, knock that surface rust off. That way the fender will look nice. And also sandblast this jamb. I think I talked about that earlier in the video, so I won't harp on that anymore. But the rust has done been fixed, so that'll help out now. Now, I still have to fix the issues on that fender. So now that we've got the fenders removed, you can kind of see what we're working with. I'm going to take this radiator support off. Actually, I'm going to leave these on here because they're fine. I believe they were blasted and powder coated, but the rest of this stuff's got to be busted down. I ain't real happy with the painted over pits and that type of thing. So anyway, keep following. All right, so as we're progressing along this morning, we got the front end took apart, got that all ready for blasting. Been going over the car with 180 grit, and pretty much got the whole shell ready for Tamco 4105, whatever that stuff is. No, not 4100. Tamco 5310, 4100 is clear coat. And I wanted to show you what I ran into with this Transtar epoxy. Can't say this is my fault or whatever. I want to say I put another coat over this right before I put it in the building, and I guess Jared, which would be me, forgot to sand or didn't sand enough or scuff, and now we've got flaking primer. But I haven't ran into this on the PPG stuff because it has a very long recoat window. So anyway, just some food for thought there. But anyway, we're progressing along pretty good, and this will probably be getting close to finishing this video number 1.